Hi guys, this is the November 2010 paper. It's Unit 2, which is number, algebra and geometry. So this is the counterpart of the last paper we did, which was Unit 1, and this is Unit 2. This paper is also out of 60 marks, and it should take you about 1 hour and 15 minutes to complete. That's 1 minute per mark. Question 1 is a nice straightforward ratio question where you have to share the given amount into the given ratio. Now the most important thing with ratio is that the order that the names or the items are given to you in the question matches the order of the ratio. So Grace and Jack share £140 in the ratio of 3 to 4. So I'm dealing with Grace and Jack in the ratio of 3 to 4. So Grace gets 3 parts, Jack gets 4 parts. And they're going to share £140. Now, in order to work out shares of ratio, first thing I need to do is add my ratio parts together. In this case, 3 plus 4 will give me 7. And that tells me that I've got 7 parts in total. Now, my 7 parts are equal to that £140. What I need to do is find out what 1 part is equal to. In order to do that, I need to use a unitary method. That means to get my answer down to 1 unit. So in order to do that, I need to divide by 7. So £140 divided between 7 parts gives me 1 part being equal to £20. Now, because I know that 1 part is equal to £20, I can go ahead and multiply this back into my given ratio. So I know that Grace gets 3 parts and they're £20 per part. So Grace gets 3 lots of 20, which is £60. And Jack gets 4 lots of 20, which is £80. Now, I'm not going to leave my answer like that because I might lose a mark. The question wants you to work out the amount of money that Jack gets. So I'm going to make it very clear that I know I'm looking at Jack, and Jack equals £80. This is a 2-mark question, and the marks are distributed. First of all, you get 1 mark for showing that you've done 140 divided by the 7. That gives you 1 mark. That's what I did down here. The second mark is then going to be your answer mark for multiplying it back in. Question 2 is a nice straightforward algebra question where we want to simplify 4b times by 2c. Now in algebra, always do the numbers first and then deal with the letters. So 4 times 2 is 8. B times C. In algebra, remember, whenever you've got letters times together, you just remove the times sign. So it's 8BC. That's 1 mark. For part B, they want you to expand these brackets. Now, to expand brackets, you take the number on the outside and multiply it by both terms on the inside. So 3 times by 2, first of all, is 6, and we've got a W there, so that's 6W. Here I've got 3 times by negative 5, which is negative 15, and there's a T. So it's 6W minus 15T. That's actually a 2-mark question. You get 1 mark for showing the multiplications, and you get the 2nd mark for the correct answer. So if you got either one of those terms correct, you get a mark, and if you got them both correct, you get both marks. Part C, expand and simplify. Again, there's brackets. Oh, zoom. Again, there's brackets, so everything has to be multiplied by whatever's on the inside of the bracket. In this case, there's 2 brackets, so we got a lot of multiplying to do. First one we do is x times x. X times x is x squared. Let me try and zoom, hang on. The second thing I'm going to need to do is x times by that negative 2, which is going to give me negative 2x. I'm so sorry about the focus on this. Then I'm going to do my 7 times by that x is positive 7x. Then I'm going to do my 7 multiplied by that negative 2. A positive and a negative is a negative. 7 2s are 14. Now at this point I collect my like terms. That's a negative 2. That's a positive 7. I put those together. Negative 2 add 7 is going to give me a positive 5x. I haven't been able to do anything with that x squared, and I haven't been able to do anything with that negative 14. So my final answer is x squared plus 5x minus 14. The marks are distributed as 1 mark for all 4 terms correct with or without the signs. So it doesn't matter if you got the positives and negatives wrong, as long as you've got an x squared, a 2x, a 7x and a 14. So that would give you 1 mark, and then of course you get your answer mark. Question 3 is about as straightforward as a percentage question comes. They want you to work out 15% of £80. Now, keeping in mind this is a non-calculator paper, I'm going to have to take a less direct approach. If it was a calculator paper, I would enter into my calculator 15 over 100 times by 80 and then press equals. That would give me my answer. However, this is a non-calc paper. So in order to work out 15%, what would be really lovely is if I could find what 10% is and what 5% is, because I can add those together to give me my 15%. So the first thing I'm going to do is find 10%, because to find 10% you just divide the amount by 10. Now £80 divided by 10 gives me £8. So 10% is worth £8. I can then halve that, because half of 10 is 5, so half of 8 is 4, so 5% is £4. Now I can add them together to give me my 15%. 8 add 4 is £12, and there I have it. 15% equals £12. Because there are 2 methods for this, it is a 2-mark question. You get 1 mark for having the correct answer, and you get a method mark for whatever method you've used. Just make sure you set it out clearly so any mistakes can be traced back. Question 4 is an angles in parallel line question. These questions can be quite tricky to spot, and practice makes perfect. So, AFB and CHD are parallel lines. So let's find those lines. There's AFB and there's CHD. And yes, they've got the parallel notation on, so that's great. EFD is a straight line. EFD, yes, it is a straight line. Work out the size of the angle marked X. That's that angle there. Now, this is quite tricky because people who are quite familiar with angles in parallel lines might think, oh, they're opposite angles, so that's going to be 42 as well. That's not the case. These are not opposite angles. This would be the opposite angle of 42. Okay, so that angle there is opposite and 42. Now we're in quite a privileged position actually with this question, because usually they ask us to give reasons at every stage of our working out. They haven't asked for that. So we're only interested in the numbers, but I'm going to make sure I write everything on the diagram in case the examiner does want to question where I've got my answers from. So I know that that is 42 degrees. Now, from practicing these questions, I can spot straight away that there's my parallel lines and that is a line going through them. And I know that if I do this, I can get my, what we used to call Z-shaped angle, but it's actually called an alternate angle. And I know that alternate angles are equal. So I know that because that angle is, I'm going to say cutched in, I'm sorry, that's a Welsh expression, because that angle is cutched in with that angle, that is also 42 degrees. If they were asking for reasons, the reason would be it's an alternate angle. Now, that's great because I know this is a triangle and therefore this is 180 degrees. So if I know that, I can work that out if only I knew this. Now this is quite an easy one to work out because that angle makes a straight line with this angle, and a straight line is 180 degrees. So my first bit of working out is going to be 180 degrees. Take away that 110 degrees, leaves me with 70 degrees. So I know this angle here is 70 degrees. If I did need a reason, it would be because angles on a straight line equal 180 degrees. So now I know that my triangle has one angle worth 70, one angle worth 42, and an angle I don't know. In order to find that angle I don't know, I can take my full triangle, I can subtract my 70 degree angle, and I can subtract my 42 degree angle, and then I'm going to be left with x. So 180 take away 70 is 110, take away 42 is 68 degrees. So my angle is 68 degrees. With regards to how the marks are allocated for this, it's a 3-mark question. You get 1 mark for working out that or that. So by finding one of the other angles, you get a mark. So it's always worth having a go. You get your 2nd mark for showing that you know that you have the angles of a triangle and you subtract everything for it. So there's your 2nd mark, and your 3rd mark is your answer mark. So 3-mark question, quite nice.